When Montana senior linebacker Levi Janicaro met up with his former teammate Marcus Wellnell for lunch one day at the Mo Club, he thought they were going over wedding plans, as Wellnell asked Janicaro to officiate his big day this summer. However, little did Janicaro know, Wellnell was planning to pass down the legendary number 37 jersey.
We're talking the whole time. I'm thinking, man, Mark, this could have been done like over a text or a phone call. Like we've been here for 45 minutes. We haven't talked about anything. And I was like, all right, man, that's like all I got. He goes, well, I didn't bring you here to talk about the wedding. And I go, kind of like look around to see who's like around me. I was like, is this like, what are you doing? And he like looked at me and it like hit, and I was like, oh, dude, sweet, thanks. And he goes, yeah, I want to talk to you about the jersey. Like, I want you to wear it. I think you'd be a great fit. So we talked about it for a bit, what it means, what he, from his experience, what it takes to live up to it, and why he thought I'd be a good pick, and talked about past guys that have worn it.
One guy who's worn it is Super Bowl champion, Grizz all-time great, and current Montana defensive analyst Tim Houck. In fact, the Big Timber native started the tradition when former Grizz and current Sacramento State defensive line coach Craig Paulson unexpectedly gave him the jersey back in 1983.
Craig, my brother, and I think we were at Red's Bar actually. He said, hey, you're gonna wear my number. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I have a number. He goes, no, I already talked to the equipment guy, and it's in your locker already. You're going to be 37.
Little did Houck and Paulson know, the number would take on a whole new meaning for Grizz Nation. Throughout the player-led tradition's 40-year existence, a 37 badge sits on the north and south 37-yard lines. Before every home game, a 37 flag is raised in the corner of the stadium by a former member of the group. And you guessed it, fans commonly wear the number along with their maroon and silver. It simply represents more than a Montana native defensive player donning the jersey every season.
I think a lot of people think it's like the best player on the defense, which there's no rules that are written down. But I think that Marks and I kind of agreed, at least what I thought it was, and then what he relayed to me, what he thought it was, is somebody that he thinks will do things the right way, somebody that's going to lead by setting a good example, and also like giving guys a push when they need it, but not out of a place of like, you're a jerk, for lack of a better word, but just being a leader in the most positive sense that you can be, trying to bring the team along, working hard, not putting yourself above the rest of the team, but everybody comes before you, you're a servant.
It's the Treasure State's way of life, and Houck says he can't think of a better person to serve as the 17th player to keep the legacy alive.
Just take the playing part out of it. His mentality and his work ethic and the type of person he is, it's hard to find guys like that. So he deserves where he's at, and he's had to work for everything he's got, so it kind of fits the bill. You walk on, and he's built his way up to being a starter on this team, and a really good player and a really good person.
Though Janicaro knows the number comes with high expectations, the Missoula native is ready to embrace it and help his team achieve the ultimate goal.
Honestly, if we're winning games, couldn't care less what my stat line is looking like. It's such a cool thing. I remember when I was a kid and I saw like my buddies in class were walking around, they were wearing the 37 on their backs, and what it means to Montana fans, I think, and think about all the guys that have come before me that have worn it, just good dudes. I heard from a lot of them, gotten to know a couple of them, really good guys, so I think just, I don't know, it's something to look up to.
Now, I did ask Levi if he's more nervous to represent the number 37 or officiate Marcus's wedding, and he said, I'm not gonna lie, being a Missoula kid wearing the number 37, a little more nerve-wracking. However, he wouldn't want to represent any other jersey this season, and he can't wait to suit up for Game 1 against Butler along with the rest of his team at Washington Grizzly Stadium. Welcome back to Big Sky Kickoff, everyone, right here at Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Alex Eshelman, your conference host and reporter. Joining me now is head coach of the University of Montana Grizzlies, Bobby Houck, Big Timber native.
Big Timber
Montana. We love Big Timber. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know you were just...
It was nice you had to dash over here from the Barbie movie to
yeah.
the interview.
Yep, this is Ken, I'm Barbie. That's what we're going by for this interview. Yes. We were just talking about it. You were glancing over at our screen here. You got to see the number 37 feature that I put together on Levi Janicaro and your brother, Tim Houck, now a defensive analyst for you. Did he get the story right with you and Coach Paulson and him at Reds, and it just kind of randomly passed down and turned into the most prestigious tradition in the state?
Well, Tim and Craig would have the story right because they were the guys, right? But yeah, I happened to be there, and I was pretty late in the evening, and Craig probably grabbed him by the collar and said, "Hey, you're going to wear my number if I remember right." And that's about exactly how that all started. And you know, it's been a cool thing in Grizzly football for a long time, and it's really been. I haven't heard the interview, but I'm guessing Tim said, you know, to be passed on to some young Montana player that you think has promise, and it's been a cool deal for a long time.
It's like you already heard the interview, because he said something about Levi. He said, take the playing part out of it. As a person, he's so deserving. What does he add to this football program this season?
Well, he's a guy. He's a young man with great character. He's also a guy with great faith. You know, he leads team Bible studies and prayer and things like that. And he's a good student and all that. He's become a very good player as well. But Levi's a complete package. You know, even seeing him through his mother passing away a year ago, you know, he's just a guy with great faith and steadfast, solid, exactly what I think that should be.
Coach, I know you don't pay attention to this, but I wrote this down. You're 7 wins away from tying for first in the league for all-time wins. I know you don't pay attention. Allowed you to create this long winning culture within the Grizzlies program?
Well, there's a couple things, and I mean, you and I've spoken about some of these milestones over the years, and I always hate talking about some of this because I always feel like it turns the attention to me,
right,
when it's always been and always will be a team game. And I think that's why we've had success. We've had great teams, we've had great assistant coaches, we've had great players, we've had great support from our fans. But the thing to me about that is the ability, if we can get there, is the doing it in that number of years. You know, you get to that milestone, and in somewhere under 12 seasons would be just really something, and show a lot of hard work by a lot of people. And you know, hopefully we can get those. I think we have a good team. I think we can get there.
I definitely think you have a good team as well. 4 preseason all-conference players, 2 leaders here, Trey Cotton and AJ Forbes. What do they bring to this football program on both sides of the ball?
Well, you know, when you bring guys to this, one, you want to have guys that are every player in this room is a good guy, right? And so you bring guys that are good guys, but also you want to bring guys that are kind of engaging. We have good players on our team that you could sit here and talk to them. They're going to give you yes and no answers. Those guys, they'll expand on things a little bit. They're fun guys to be around. They're personable, and they're very good football players. So I thought, my perception is they represented Montana really well this weekend.
I know they have. We're about to have them on the show. I know it's early in the season. Fall camp hasn't even started yet, but any position groups that you're excited about, players to look out for this Grizz fan base?
Yeah, certainly. I think it's, and you'll have AJ here in a minute, but I think it's really great finally to be able to rely on our offensive line. Our guys have played hard and scrapped, but I think we've got a talented offensive line. That's a good place to start on offense. Defensively, we're replacing 3 All-Americans. That's a tall order, really tall order. You know, that's a lot of production going out the door. But so along with the offensive line, I think the most exciting part to me is that I see some spark with some young players, and I think we're going to have some young guys step forward, make a leap, and play really well for us, and we'll find ways to get wins.
Quickly, what's it like to have your brother and Tim Houck back with you on the coaching staff?
Well, you know, at Montana, it's been kind of a family deal for a long time. I mean, generations at our university, and then certainly in Grizzly football. I'm hoping that we've had an impact on it. One went out the door, and now we got another one coming back in. And, the ability, one, to have Tim back, who is a foundational element of our football program. that's great from it would be popular to have that and kind of fun, but also the fact that he's got all that NFL experience, all that coaching experience at many levels. To have him back on our coaching staff is really good for our team.
Coach, we're so excited to see what you continue to do in Missoula. Thank you. For Ken and Barbie, we'll be right back with a couple of Grizzlies right after this. Continuing on with our coverage here at Big Sky Football Media Day at Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Welcome back to the show. Alex Eshelman, your conference host and reporter. Joining me now are a couple of Grizz leaders. We've got AJ Forbes, senior offensive lineman, and Trey Cotton, senior defensive back. Guys, we were just talking about it. Media Day, you've answered a lot of questions. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been a great opportunity for us to come out here and represent Grizz Nation, and seeing so many people who have taken an interest in what we do here as Grizz football players. It's been great.
Trey, John, I want to ask you a question about the fact that you are a pioneer in your family. First, to not only graduate from college, but earn a master's, and you're continuing your education. Fantastic. What's inspired you to be that leader within your family?
Like you said, my family. They kind of inspire me. They always kind of supported me every step of the way. High school, middle school, and especially college. When I went to Oregon State, they came to all my games, and now Montana. They've been to Missoula a couple of times. So, they keep me going every day.
That's so cool. And AJ, we've been talking about this. You need to be my co-host on this show because you are the founder of Barn Burner Sports. Check it out. Tell us, what you've been doing with your sports broadcasting career.
Yeah, so Barn Burner Sports, it's something that I started back in 2020 during COVID when our season got shut down, and I figured I might as well do something. And I've always been interested in sports journalism. It's been a great opportunity for me to kind of spread my wings and go from writing to video editing to podcasts and stuff like that. The reason I started it was because I thought there needed to be some more representation of players in sports media, and so I kind of took it upon myself to be that advocate for the athlete in sports media.
And both of you, a couple of innovators, if you could give a headline to this year's team, what's unique about this team? One sentence, what would it be?
I would just say that we are in a unique position to be national title contenders every year at the University of Montana. That's what I would say.
Why?
Because we talk about it all the time. It's the pride and tradition of the Montana Grizzlies. And I think with the amount of talent and the amount of dedication that we have in Missoula, from starters to backups, just down the depth chart, and then everybody on the coaching staff, that's the standard. Because obviously we've had success in the past, but we want to bring that success back.
Speaking of the pride and tradition, we're going to talk about the defense here. Levi Janicaro is number 37 this season. Arguably the biggest tradition, definitely one of them within the Big Sky. What does he bring to this defense, and why is he deserving to wear that number?
Levi is the heart and soul of Montana and Missoula. Like he really stands on that, and he really believes that. And Levi's just a tremendous leader. He's a lead by example guy. He'll express his feelings, of course, if someone steps out of line, and he's just someone amazing to play with. He goes all out every play. He communicates well, and I think he's going to rock that 37 real well this season.
I think so too. AJ, we just had Coach Houck up here, and he said one thing that's really stood out to me that he's really excited about is the offensive line.
Yeah.
He said that it's a talented group. It's stacked with leaders. What would you say is the biggest attribute of that position group?
I think that we are in a unique position right now where not only do we have all 5 starters coming back for this year, but we have so many guys who have played in big games in terms of depth. I think we go by the mantra DOLA, dominant offensive line attitude, and I think we are in a position right now to where we can become that violent, frantic group of people in this, not only in this conference but in the country.
Quickly, as two veteran leaders, one goal you want to see accomplished by the time the season opener rolls around. I'll start with you.
Just improve week by week. I think if we improve week by week during the season, all the goals that we have set in front of us, we can achieve those.
Trey John?
Yeah, my goal is kind of around the same lines. Just be consistent to the standard. We know our standard of performance. We know our standard of what we expect from ourselves and each other, and we just got to keep holding ourselves accountable.
Looking forward to seeing what you both accomplish this season with the Montana Grizzlies, and we'll be right back with more for Big Sky Football Media Day.